In the annals of history, certain groups have emerged with beliefs and practices so bizarre, they defy explanation. From death-defying rites to mysterious ceremonies, these cults often lurked in the shadows of society, inspiring fear, curiosity, and sometimes reverence. 1. The Thuggy Cult of India, rituals of strangulation and deception. In 19th century India, British colonialists uncovered a chilling network of ritualistic murderers known as the Thuggy Cult. These individuals weren't just bandits, they worshipped the goddess Kali, and they believed they were serving her by murdering unsuspecting travelers. Thuggy cult members would infiltrate groups of travelers, befriending them over several days or even weeks before enacting their ritual killings. The act was methodical and chilling, a ritualistic strangulation with a ceremonial handkerchief, followed by a well-coordinated disposal of the bodies. The Thuggees believed that through each murder, they were satisfying Kali's thirst for blood, and in return, she would bless them with her protection. This gruesome ritual wasn't just a murder, it was a spiritual ceremony, one that had taken place in secret for centuries, hidden by an intricate web of code words, secret hand signals, and unwritten traditions. When the British finally suppressed the cult, they estimated that the Thuggees had killed hundreds of thousands over the years, leaving a bloody trail in the shadows of Indian history. 2. The Aghori Sect, rituals of death and decay. Venturing even deeper into India's mysticism, we find the Aghori, a small sect within Hinduism whose beliefs and practices are some of the most disturbing known to man. The Aghorists believe that the divine exists in everything, from life to death, purity to filth. As part of their spiritual practices, Aghorists seek out cremation grounds where they perform rituals using human skulls, ashes, and even decomposing corpses. For the Aghori, death and decay are not things to fear or avoid, but to embrace. In their pursuit of enlightenment, they often engage in cannibalistic practices, eating flesh from corpses they find along the banks of the Ganges River. To outsiders, this might seem like pure insanity, but to the Aghori, it is the ultimate expression of non-attachment and defiance of taboos. By challenging the limits of disgust, they believe they can transcend earthly suffering and glimpse divine truth. The People's Temple, collective suicide as the ultimate sacrifice. Perhaps one of the most infamous modern cults, the People's Temple, led by charismatic preacher Jim Jones, is remembered for orchestrating one of the largest mass suicides in modern history. The cult initially offered hope, promising equality and an end to racial and social divides. However, as Jones grew more paranoid and controlling, he led his followers to establish a utopian commune in the jungles of Guyana, which he named Jonestown. In November 1978, as US authorities arrived to investigate, Jones convinced or coerced hundreds of his followers to commit revolutionary suicide. They drank a deadly mixture of cyanide-laced Kool-Aid, a ritual that has since become a haunting symbol of blind loyalty. Men, women, and children perished side by side, leaving over 900 dead. The tragedy of Jonestown remains a stark reminder of how belief, when manipulated, can lead people to the unthinkable. The Order of the Solar Temple, rituals of fire and rebirth. Another tragic chapter in cult history is written by the Order of the Solar Temple, a secretive organization founded in the late 20th century with a blend of New Age and medieval Christian beliefs. Members of the order believed they were part of an elite group destined for spiritual rebirth. Their path to this transformation, however, was fraught with darkness. The leaders convinced followers that a new life awaited them on a distant star, Sirius, but only if they purified themselves through fire. This purification ritual took on a horrifying reality. Over several years, dozens of members were found dead in various mass suicides or sacrificial killings, often set in ritualistic formations and surrounded by symbolic flames. Authorities believe many of these deaths were actually forced murders, concealed under the guise of ritual. The solar temple serves as a chilling example of how a cult's quest for purity and rebirth can spiral into terror and tragedy. 5. The Anthill Kids, a cult of torture and terror. In the remote Canadian wilderness of the 1970s, Roche Theriot, a self-proclaimed prophet, established a commune that would come to be known as the Anthill Kids. What began as a seemingly peaceful community quickly devolved into a nightmare. Theriot demanded absolute obedience from his followers, who suffered unspeakable abuse. He invented gruesome rituals to keep them under his control, many of which involved extreme violence and torture. Under the guise of spiritual purification, he subjected his followers to surgeries without anesthesia, amputations, and even forced his followers to break their own limbs. Theriot's cruelty knew no bounds, yet his followers remained, trapped in a psychological prison he had created. The story of the Anthill Kids is a testament to the terrifying power of mind control and the tragic lengths to which people will go to please a divine figure. Throughout history, humanity has been drawn to the mysterious, the powerful, and the divine. But in the shadows of these noble quests lie dark perversions, cults that twist belief into fear, love into suffering, and devotion into death. These groups remind us of the dangers of absolute obedience, of blind loyalty, and of surrendering our reason to those who would claim to lead us to salvation. As strange as they may be, the rituals of these cults are cautionary tales, forever etched in the human psyche, reminding us to question and to think, lest we too find ourselves drawn into the darkness of blind faith.